Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. This is Instructor Toll, and I want to talk about the work that's due in week 8. So this is obviously our final week of the class, and we'll be finishing up the final drafts of the history essay project. But first, there are some assignments that are still due from last week. So as you remember from my email, I pushed back the due dates for the peer review and the reading response. So for the peer review assignment, as you've probably seen, you just need to complete the one peer review letter. If you've done that and you want to complete an extra peer review for extra credit up to 30 points, please reach out to me over email by today, and I will give you the opportunity to do that, and that will be due by tomorrow at the very latest. But again, you still can complete the peer review letter for the peer that you're assigned by tonight, and that is Monday, July 14th. There's also the final reading response discussion. So this reading isn't as long as the last one we did, but it's about medium length. So it might take you 30 to 40 minutes to read at the most. And I pushed this back so it's still available for you to complete, and you can complete it by tonight, July 14th, for up to full credit. Because we've done a couple of these already, I'll especially be looking for uses of quoted material using evidence to support claims. So make sure that you've read the article carefully and that you're able to support claims with specific evidence from the text. You don't need to use any outside evidence from other sources, just from this article. The rest of the final work for this week is pretty straightforward. We have the revised draft and revision reflection. So this is pretty similar to the process for the last revised draft. You'll want to revise based on my feedback, peer feedback, and potentially feedback from other sources as well. Like if you go to the Writing Center or turn in or show the draft to a family member or a friend or something like that, you can include that in your revision process. You'll want to revise in that same document that you've been drafting in. And it doesn't matter to me, like if you complete the draft and there's stuff above that in the document, it doesn't matter as long as the formatting for the food history essay itself is correct, then that's fine with me. So you'll want to include a 200 plus word reflection like last time, telling me about the feedback that you received from all the sources that you received it from, and then the changes that you made and why, referring to specific moments in the draft. And that's part of the rubric requirements for the assignment. And then you would want to submit this as a PDF and also include the link to your drafting Google Doc where you made these changes after the reference list. And that will be due by midnight on Thursday, July 17th. That's the last day of class. I pushed it back a day to give you some more time to revise. So the last assignment also asks you to compose in a Google Doc, and your new invention and response Google Doc, the one that you made in the second half of the class. You'll type in there and then cut and paste the content into the text box as usual. Make sure to include the link as has been customary for all the assignments. But in this final reflection, I'm just looking for you to look back at the entire course as a whole. I'd like you to tell me about your biggest strengths and successes, things that you were especially successful at using specific references. Discuss the concept or skill or assignment that you found the most interesting in the class and refer back to that specific moment. I'd like you also to discuss some challenges that you had, particularly in the second half of the course with the food history project or some other assignment that we did in that second half, and how you met those challenges. And then finally, talk about how you might transfer or use some of the skills in this course in future writing situations. And it doesn't have to be related to another class. It could be something that's not academic at all. It could be related to work or other contexts like personal writing. But you'll want to talk about that as well. This assignment should be pretty straightforward. I think you all did a pretty good job with the last one, and it will be due on Thursday, July 17th as well. So that is our last week. If you have any questions about any of this or, about my feedback or about anything else coming up, don't hesitate to reach out. You should have video feedback from me on your drafts by tomorrow, Tuesday, July 15th. If you don't, feel free to reach out to me and say, hey, Instructor Toll, where's my feedback? I think that would be totally appropriate. All right. Thank you, and I hope you have a good week.